Young folks, old folks, everybody come to Kids Club and have a lot of fun. Please check your chewing gum and raisins at the door, and we'll tell you Bible stories that you never heard before. Hello, children. I'm Pastor Ted. Get ready. I'm going to read the Bible. You're going to hear a story. Today's Bible story is the story of baby Moses and how he got born. It takes place in ancient Egypt more than 3,000 years ago. The king there was called the Pharaoh, and the Pharaoh thought he gained his power from the sun. The Hebrew people, God's chosen people, were living in Egypt as slaves. And the Pharaoh treated the slaves harshly. He made them build his pyramids and the other buildings, and he made them build them out of sand and straw, making big bricks that were so heavy, and beat them with whips. And the Pharaoh passed a law saying that when a baby would be born in a Hebrew family, if it was a girl, she could live, but if it was a boy, he must be killed and his body thrown into the river Nile. Well, this frightened all the Hebrew families, and when Mother Miriam gave birth to a little baby boy who did not yet have a name, she was so frightened. So she plotted. She wove a basket, and she covered the basket in bitumen, which is like tree sap, in order to keep out the water. And she put baby Moses into the basket and sent him afloat on the Nile River. And baby Moses just floated like he was in a boat. And do you think baby Moses was happy? Probably not. He probably cried, and so it's possible that people heard the baby crying in the river. And the princess from the palace, the daughter of the Pharaoh, went down to the shore of the Nile River to take a bath. In those days, they did not have showers or bathtubs, and so the beautiful princess took her bath in the river, and she heard the crying of a baby. And eventually she found the basket with the little baby, and she immediately fell in love with that baby and told her friends that had come with her, let's take the baby back to the palace and raise this baby as a prince of Egypt. Well, when they got the baby back and stopped crying and gave him some milk, they noticed the baby looked like a Hebrew baby. Well, let's not tell anybody, said the princess, but let's see if we can find a Hebrew woman who would come as his nursemaid. And they did. And you know what happened? The woman they selected was Miriam, the very mommy of the baby. And the princess named the baby Moses because she'd drawn him up and out of the water. And so in the palace lived the princess, the baby, the baby's true mommy, but nobody knew it was the true mommy because it was a secret. And Moses grew to become a young boy and then a man, and he was a prince. But he knew from his mommy Miriam that he was secretly a Hebrew, that he was from the slaves. One day, he saw an Egyptian soldier mistreating the Hebrews, beating them with a whip or something mean, and Moses just got so angry he couldn't help himself. And he rose up and he killed that Egyptian. And he looked around, did anybody see me? No, I don't think so. But then another Egyptian came up and said, Moses, you killed that man. And so Moses got so frightened that he fled, he left, he ran away from Egypt. He didn't know where he was going. He ran into the wilderness of Midian. And in Midian, there's a big mountain called Mount Sinai. Moses did not know it yet, but even though he was a slave and even though he was a murderer, God had elected Moses to become the leader of the Hebrew people, who would lead them out of slavery and deliver to them the 10 Commandments. So this is how Moses was born and raised, but there's a lot more to this story.
Young folks, old folks, everybody come to Kids Club and have a lot of fun. Please check your chewing gum and raisins at the door, and we'll tell you Bible stories that you never heard before. Goodbye, kids.